So when I first started making beats, full disclosure, I never charged anyone. I never said to any of the rappers that I had built relationships with and still have relationships with now, $100, $50, $20. Like, no, I didn't do that because I knew that they were in a position that would help me grow as a producer. I'm not saying I'm using them as a step stool.
Yeah.
Their knowledge and their game would help me grow.
Definitely.
And I've been fortunate enough to be in a situation in Cleveland, meeting people at different studios and through different artists and through just different people to really grow not only my network but just grow as a producer in
Welcome back, guys, on another episode of Behind the Red. I'm your host, Tim Gaines, and we have Levent.
What's up?
And our guest today is Tweak.
Turn it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Introduce yourself a little bit. Producer, go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
So my name is Tweak, or Sam Novak, TweakOnTheBeat. I'm just right now I currently solely produce, working on the engineering, but right now producing is my lane.
Word.
For sure.
Respect.
For sure.
So, man, when I first heard about you, dude, I feel like you kind of just like popped up in the scene out of nowhere. Like first time that you were at Invasion, and that was a cool experience. It was cool vibes. I kind of just like kept hearing about you, and then I feel like over time heard about Erie Flow, which is a great project, by the way. So like, let's get into that. Like, what made you want to do that type of project? Because I would say, compared to like other producers, where like the typical model is, you work with artists, the song gets posted on their platform, and you kind of like seek royalties. What made you take the step out where you're like, all right, I kind of want to manage the creative process a little bit more with regards to my releases?
Right. So at first, when I first started producing, I wanted to take the route where artists would drop the songs with my beats, and then I noticed early on that some artists, to get their respect, you have to almost pay them for them to hop on your beats, which is almost ridiculous now that you think of it. Because if a song is 50-50, it's half the beat, half the vocals. So ultimately, to get into that was a good route at first. But I noticed that I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something that would not only shed light to the Cleveland scene, but bring justice to my beats. And one day, I had a former friend of mine was telling me, I feel like you're slowing down as a producer, and I didn't think I was at the time, quite honestly, but that really put me in sport mode, and I really turned on the jets, and Erie Flow came to be. And ultimately, Erie Flow was a great experience working with Chop and a friend of mine from high school, so that was a really cool experience, I would say. But yeah, that's how Erie Flow came to be, for sure.
Was it hard to get the music produced under your name versus just theirs solely, or were they just cool with being on the project, you know what I mean? Because I know some artists are no, this is my song, my page, my everything.
Right. And so my process with Erie Flow was I would actually book sessions at Invasion.
Word.
I'd book sessions there at the time, and I'd invite the artist, say, hey, I booked a session, I paid for the 2 hours, I have a bunch of beats, listen to them, kick it. If you like them, you like them, we want to hop on one, great. If you don't, worst case, you got 2 free hours just to listen to some awesome music. And a lot of the time, they'd pull up. A couple artists on the tape, Low Life Lane included. That was actually one of the first songs recorded on Erie Flow, was Haircut. And I just booked a session, he recorded over the song, and we're talking at the end of it. I was like, hey, would you want to drop this? He's like, man, you can drop it. I was like, oh, for sure. And at the time, man, Erie Flow wasn't even an idea.
Word.
That was just, a song I had with Low Life Lane. And so that ended up eventually, I was like, wow, I can accumulate that, keep a bunch of songs, and eventually over time have a tape that represents our city. And that's really what happened there. When it comes to artists dropping it as well, that kind of got tough. I know I had reached out to specific artists asking for their feature price, because sometimes it's almost is the same thing. If you're an artist asking for another artist to be on your album, you got to pay to play.
Yeah. And
so, for some people you have to pay certain things, but certain artists have respect for you enough where they'll do it for free.
Yeah.
A couple of them I was fortunate enough to do for free. A couple of them you just pay to get it cleared, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, I built relationships, I would say, with every single one of the artists on that tape, and I wouldn't say now. I would say now, you know, looking back at it, I was glad I did it because I grew a lot as a producer.
What's that?
Respect. So, I mean, that has to be a huge step from what I can consider also as, like, you know, in my experience as a producer, because now you're taking on a lot of other more administrative tasks as a producer. Whereas, like, I would say most of the time, more often than not, producers are very creative like individuals, right? Like, have a lot of technical ability when it comes to making music, have great taste, are able to make great instrumentation. But when it comes to, like, the business side of it, usually they'll almost neglect this. And that's not the case for you. And I feel like this, compared to, like, other producers, being, I guess in my opinion, more of, like, a newer producer, you know, not for, like, compared to, like, other producers who I've seen, at least in our area, like Cleveland area, producing for at least 5+ years. You have, like, less experience, but that hasn't stopped your growth. It's like you've almost, like, caught up in a lot of ways, if not exceeded a lot of the progress that other producers, or I guess your contemporaries, have made. So, like, with regards to, like, becoming a better business person, what steps do you need to take?
For myself to grow
Yeah.
for more than I'm at now. Currently, you know, what I think I'm doing, you know, has been working for me. You know, I think I've been able to grow, you know, my relationship. I'm a really relationship-driven human being. You know, actually, when I was in college, I went to Miami and I majored in anthropology. And one of the things that I learned, you know, in the anthropology courses is, you know, how to interact with people from not only different cultures and backgrounds, but just language and discourse, how to dissect conversations.
What's anthropology?
So anthropology is like almost like it's like a social science.
Okay, got you. I've always heard about it, but I never knew what it was.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's like biology or something. I didn't know what it was.
Swear to God, so
like a
like
doctor or something.
yeah, so
Word.
I learned about like hieroglyphics and like Egyptian type of stuff,
shit.
but I
Okay.
also learned about like dissecting conversations. And so like
Word.
meaning, what I mean by that, if I said, "You suck,"
Yeah.
or "You suck," there's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could definitely tell the difference. One's more serious, one's not. But like the discourse and like the difference in how I say things and the difference in how people act, like that's a certain thing I can study.
Yeah,
And so like
yeah.
on the conversations with people in my day-to-day job as well. I know it's a little off topic.
No.
But on my day-to-day job, you know, I talk to people all the time. And so, you know, learning how to interact and dissect those conversations really has helped me grow as a producer as well.
That's what's up. I forgot who said this, but I think it's like 80% of one's success is, I guess, attributed by their communication skills and relationships. So in this industry, like specifically music entertainment, would you say that it's better to have a relationship with someone or to just have your business ends like covered overall? Of course, both are equally. If not, I mean, I don't know, one may be more important than the other.
Right.
But for someone who is pursuing more of like a transactional model, would you say that like having stronger relationships will eventually result in like a producer having that like faster like progression?
Yeah, so
and
I think
goals?
if I go up to an artist who I think is at a better place than I am at in their career or has been around for longer and making more noise per se, and I reach out to him and I'm like, hey, I got this crazy beat. I think you would sound incredible on it. Psst, $300.
Yeah.
They're not gonna either A, want to work with me, B, take me seriously, C, look at my music, or want to work with me in general because I'm gonna tax them off bat without them knowing who I am. So I can go into some examples of just like past relationships and people like that. But I definitely think that, you know, building a relationship with someone is more important at first than securing the business. Yes, you have to bring up the business and that has to be covered 100%. But I definitely think establishing a relationship and at least some groundwork is more important at first than just the business.
Okay.
Because that definitely would push people away, in my opinion. That's how I feel about it, at least.
For sure, yeah. I would definitely say so. Like a lot of producers that I know really are just pursuing sales. You know, like I need to sell this beat. You know, it's like, but like they don't have the groundwork. It's like, all right, there's so many other producers that are selling beats. There are so many other producers giving out beats for free.
Right.
And it's like, what do you do to stand out? And I feel like, you know, you've kind of found a way where it's like, all right, like I'm just gonna be cool with everybody. You know, Well, do you believe in sunk costs in like making music? Because, you know, getting into this lane, I would say, can be costly to some degree. You know, so like, would you say that there is like a certain barrier to entry involved financially?
So yeah, I would say that as well. I would say you do have to pay to play, as a producer. I will say I want to backtrack to something you said. You had said something about being cool with everybody. One thing I will say is that is not the case. When it comes to being a producer, I do think one thing that's very important is exclusivity.
Okay.
I think, being accessible.
You can't give your beef to everybody.
You can't give you can sell. I mean, some people say, "Oh, I want to sell my." There's different types of producers out there. In my opinion, there's different categories. There's the type of producer who sells their beats on like a BeatStars. Is happy to sell their beats to anyone. I'm not that type of producer. I want someone to hop on my beat who would do it justice. I want some. I'm gonna sit there behind a desk, work hours upon hours on a couple beats, and really work on these. Perfect my craft. Why would I want someone to go up there and just start spitting gibberish over my stuff, take maybe 15 minutes on it, and that's it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's not how I told myself I'd approach it. So when I first started making beats, full disclosure, I never charged anyone. I never said to any of the rappers that I had built relationships with and still have relationships with now, $100, $50, $20. Like, no, I didn't do that because I knew that they were in a position that would help me grow as a producer. I'm not saying I'm using them as a step stool.
Yeah.
Their knowledge and their game would help me grow.
Definitely.
And I've been fortunate enough to be in a situation in Cleveland, meeting people at different studios and through different artists and through, just different people to really grow not only my network, but just grow as a producer in general.
All right.
So
Okay.
that's how I view. But definitely, I would say you have to pay to play.
Right.
Meaning, if I am not an engineer,
Mhm.
so sometimes I have to pay someone to mix something for me, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, it ends up turning out fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm working on that, and I have no shame in that. I personally think I make great beats, and so when it comes to the engineering aspect, it'll get there.
Definitely.
When it comes to promo and content, you do have to pay for that as well. Kenny Beats, perfect example.
That dude is a goat, man. He
Going
has
crazy.
the system master, bro.
That
Yeah,
dude
man.
is a
Like-
system master.
Just recording sessions,
Yeah.
and also, bro, come on now. Then getting paid on the live to
Facts.
people donating, bro. What? So it's like a dream. Turn on your
Yeah.
camera and just make money,
Right.
and collab.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And the thing is like you have to have a brand. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
on your Instagram, like first of all, I'll give you credit. You have like a very clean Instagram where it's like,
Thank you.
I wouldn't say it's like artsy, but it's like you got that Invader Tim, you got that brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got the name, you got the face to it, and like it's recognizable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're a producer and you just have like, triller after triller after triller after triller, and it's like not professional content. Like, my old boss at my job before this always said you got to treat your business like a business, and I apply that every day to producing as well.
Yeah.
If someone has professional content on their page, professional photos done of themselves, good snippets of their beats, or at least visuals of some sort, or at least networking themselves to at least the point where they know how to attract a fan base, a brand, or a following, I'm more than happy to work with them. But if you're someone who does not treat your business like a business, why would I extend my time or spend my time putting forth my hard work into someone who won't do the same and reciprocate?
Right.
Okay, that's that.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Let's think. So I actually had a question.
Of
As
course.
far as your music goes, like producing and stuff, where do you get your inspiration from? Because I feel like art is all about reference point. You know what I'm saying? So like, where do you who's like your go-to when you're a kid? Like your artist. You know what I mean? Or what was the first? Did you ever used to buy CDs?
Oh my gosh.
What was the first CD you ever bought?
First CD I ever bought.
I remember mine. What was yours?
I do remember mine, but so my dad had gotten me this. The first rap song I had ever heard was "Gangster's Paradise" by Coolio.
Classics.
Gangster's
Like every
Paradise by
movie.
Coolio.
You know what I'm
Right, for
saying?
sure.
Every movie, and so I loved that. But the first rap CD I think I had ever bought, my gosh, bought on my own. I mean, there's so many, but I think it was like Good Kid, Mad City back when Kendrick dropped it.
Where the 2012 is.
2012 era,
Word.
but then I think I had it's called The Minstrel Show by Lil Brother.
Word, I'm not hip.
You will be hip.
Word.
You
Give
will
me
be
hip,
hip.
give me
You will
hip.
get hip.
For sure.
So there's a producer named Ninth Wonder.
Oh shit!
Ninth-
Yeah, Ninth Wonder of the World.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ninth Wonder of the
of
World. So
course,
Ninth
yeah.
Wonder, and there's two guys named Big Pooh
Okay.
and
yeah,
Rapper
yeah.
Fonte, and
Yeah.
they're incredible, and they formed a rap trio in like 2004, 2005 era.
Really? Because they died, didn't they?
No, they're all alive.
They're all alive.
They
Word.
separated. The band,
That's what
the
happened.
group separated. Yeah.
Word.
But the thing is they were incredible. They were
Word.
like underground legends in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
And back in they were in like Raleigh, Durham area.
yeah.
But like they had songs with Kanye West. Like
Yeah,
Mos
that's all I know
Def,
about
like,
them. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the type of like, in my opinion, this off the record. I think Mos Def's the goat. He's my favorite.
He's up there. He's
I
up
think
there.
I think on my Mount Rushmore, Mos Def is definitely on it.
He's definitely a staple.
For sure.
Yeah, he's incredible. But
The Black Star. Everyone forgets
Unreal.
about Black Star.
Unreal, man.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Word.
Yeah, what were we talking about again?
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, my biggest inspiration, I mean, I would say, image-wise or at least persona, like, I like the Kenny Beats vibe, but at the same time, I like to be myself.
Yeah.
When it comes to beats and who inspires my beats, if I could sit down and make any type of beat, you know who 1985 is? Division.
Yeah.
Like I love like those heavy bass like sub basses with the synth and like the area like that is if I can make any type of beat, it'd be R&B quite honestly. But I don't do that too often.
Yeah.
I don't do that too
It's
often.
hard to find people to feature on it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might know what you want the sound like, but it's like, who can be on this?
Who could do
Facts.
this?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Part of it is like building that sound, and another part of it is like finding someone who can meet you where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I got a guy in Atlanta that I had met, one of the first artists I'd ever started working with. I had networked with him via Instagram because you have Instagram ads pop up sponsored. And there was a guy, his name is James Hooper, rock star. I love the guy to death. Never met him in person though. We have a whole tape together.
Damn.
He released it on his
Like
platforms.
Yeah.
It
No
was
facts.
called Unconditional. It's an incredible 4-piece project that it was one of the first tapes I'd ever produced. He had took a chance and let me work for him and make the beats with him, and we did it all over Zoom. And he recorded all the beats in the studio in Atlanta, and it was incredible. And I grew a lot from that. But I always know if I got an R&B song, I got James. And I know there's plenty other artists in Cleveland. There's a couple. There's one in Invasion specifically, and there's artists all around Cleveland that make different genres. So I like tapping into R&B, but I just don't do it enough, I would say.
I feel that.
All right, I just thought about this. Being a white producer, is that a challenge? Do you feel like you got to step extra hard, or is it just like, you know what I mean?
I would disagree. I don't think I have to step extra hard, but I definitely think my work has to show for itself.
Right.
Meaning, if I walk into a room, I have to earn the respect.
Word.
Like if I walk into a room as a white producer and I play the hardest Chief Keef type beat or the hardest Lil Durk type beat, I'm gonna make some jaws drop.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna make some jaws drop, and that's the goal. I'll be honest. I'm a short little white kid whose name's Tweak. Hi, I'm Sam Harrison Novak. Like, I'm a digital health recruiter during the day and producer by night. Like, I'll be honest. Like, that's not the most.
Clark Kent over here.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Clark Kent. You know what I mean?
Secret life.
And then after at 5:30, once I get off, I put this hat on. I'm Tweak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a couple more hats. This isn't the only one, I promise. But the thing is like, it definitely adds to the experience. You know what I mean? And I think it can help in some situations. I definitely think that artists. I'm not saying this is like. I'm not someone who's very intimidating. I'm not like a 6 foot tall, ripped. I'm not like Jaleel, who's jacked as can be. You know what I mean? I'm Sam.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love doing what I do, and some artists have actually come over and let me cook them dinner, so I can't complain.
Hey.
It's been a great time.
Word.
Yeah. Me too, man. You offered me dinner. I was like, man, like people
yeah.
don't be doing this shit.
So you be chefing up?
Appreciate you.
I do
Yeah,
chefing
bro.
up, man. I make a mean
Chef Novak.
Bro, I make a mean
Chef
peanut
Tweak.
butter and jelly sandwich. No, I'm kidding. No,
Crust, no crust?
Yeah, I like the crust. I like the crust.
Word.
I like the crust. I will say that. But
I
yeah.
feel you. Yeah, I never understood why people like cut off the crust, bro. I'm like, bro, it's
That's what I
extra.
said,
It's
you know
extra
what I
bread,
mean?
bro. It's not like
Literally.
it's
Isn't
not
that
that deep, bro.
Yeah.
The texture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. I feel like people just be too picky.
Yeah.
Way too picky, man. Well, with regards to being a producer who wears multiple hats, and what I mean by this, like carries a lot of different skill sets to be able to achieve your goals, would you say that like it's important to make good beats, but is it more important to like be like someone who's like able to network and to like really, you know, build relationships, or is it more important to be a better producer and not really have like, you know, this other, I guess, like cover your management business end?
Yeah, I think all of it's really important. I think when it comes down to it, you have to be a really skilled producer in the end, because if you're under the spotlight and everyone's watching you and you can't do it, what do you have?
Right.
If you know, the way you build up to that success is by showing what you got. I think being on a networker, you could be I know some producers that I think are miles better than me. You know, miles more talented, miles more skilled, and way more experienced. But you know, some of them lack, I would say, networking abilities, because they don't sell their beats, they don't send their beats out. They're very in their head about it, and I understand. You know, some producers are like that, but I will also say that you know, if you don't network, you know, if I have a Kanye West song, I will say, and I don't tell anyone, no one's gonna know.
Right.
If I'm the best producer in the world and I don't show anyone my beats, no one's gonna know.
Yeah.
And you know, people aren't gonna be knocking on my door, knowing that I have, you know, beats, if I don't show the world that I have awesome music.
Yeah.
And that's how I view it. That's why I think the platform is the most important thing. Yeah, I think having good music, works, but only if you have the platform. Because I could have a Kanye West song and I can drop it under "TweakOnTheBeat."
He's dropping hints. He has.
No, I do not have I do not.
We need the leak after this.
Yeah.
$5 for the link.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, but no, anyways, like if I were to drop it and he weren't to promote it, no one would know about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not on that platform.
And they would think it's just like a fake leak, probably too, which is crazy.
Right.
You could actually have the song and be like, "This isn't fucking you." You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Imagine that. They'd be like,
It's like if you don't have like the platform, or like either
"That's crazy."
What I mean by platform isn't like just Spotify or Apple Music. I mean it as like
Brand presence.
brand, like a label that, or like a Spotify playlisting,
Okay.
or like at least a platform for it to be heard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a way for it to be really heard. Like that's extremely important, I've learned.
Gotcha.
Because I believe I've made some incredible songs and they have fallen under the rug completely. But you know what? That's on to the next one. You know, I try not to get too hung up on if one doesn't hit. If it doesn't hit, oh well, on to the next one, because one of them eventually will.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
What do you think about the new Drake project? You know, you think EDM's a new wave? And I feel like you've been saying this for a minute, though.
Yeah,
You said,
man.
I'm going to start making house music. I'm going to start making
For
house
real,
music. I've been
man.
telling you, start
Yeah.
making the... You could have had Cleveland right now.
Yeah.
Man,
No, honestly.
Y&J on a unts beat. You feel me? Hey,
Yes.
imagine that.
That'd be something.
Hey,
No, for
I mean,
real.
get the rage.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly.
What do you think? You think that's the next wave?
I like it. I definitely like it. I think it's shifting more towards that, for sure. I definitely think it's shifting more towards that fun, happy feeling. You know, the pandemic's leaning, you know, more towards over.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think the happier type of sound is going to be more prevalent. I think during the pandemic it was more rage, more built up, pent up aggression, and just trap, rap, hyper pop. Like you saw the emergence of the Cleveland hyper pop scene, at least in this city, go nuts during
Right.
the pandemic. Like if you were in the city of Cleveland and you were around music, I think hyper pop, at least in the underground, hyper pop was the most prevalent during the pandemic.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Out of all the genres.
For sure.
And so I kind of lost my train of thought, not gonna lie.
Well, okay. Going back to Rage, so since that sound has died down, would you say the next like trendy like sound design, I guess the next step for like what's trendy regarding like music that a lot of people are going to be listening to, dance, like house, deep house type of sound?
I don't think it's gonna lean as much towards that as people think. I think when Tory Lanez dropped Alone at Prom, is that what it was called? Are you hip?
Oh, the 80s. The
The
80s
tape.
fucking trash.
You didn't like that?
I didn't, dude.
What?
No, I think that when the Weeknd did it, shit sucked too. You know what I mean? I listened to it like 3 times. I tried it. I was like, it's not hitting, man.
I feel you.
It's not hitting.
Yeah.
It was just like fake Stranger Things.
This
He
interview.
had like a fucking perm. You know what I'm saying?
This
Right,
interview is
right.
now over.
Wrap it up.
No, I liked a couple of those songs off that Tory Lanez album. I will say he did a very good job with his visuals.
Right.
The visuals were dope.
He
The
definitely-
visuals
They
were
yeah.
were
ridiculous.
dope.
Like the visuals made me feel like I was there.
Did he like redo the Thriller video too? I'm pretty sure.
He did something like that.
Yeah,
Like something
yeah.
like that. It was just ridiculous. He sampled Madonna. I think it was Madonna. I caught in my baby. With
Can't say
love
that's
in
not
my-
a legendary move though. Like,
He stole it too. She was pissed. I think
Oh,
she's
so
Yeah.
it didn't get cleared.
it didn't get clear.
Oh
She was
wow,
mad.
he
She
said
was,
fucking
Damn.
drop it anyway.
got
he
paid in
dropped
clout,
I said
bro.
LOC it. Fuck it.
he's like, you know. What
He
I'm
said,
saying?
"Forget the money, bro. Give me the clout."
Tory
That's
Lanez, man,
crazy.
he's
Tory Lanez is
he's
wild,
the
man.
goat. He's
Tory
great.
Lanez, yeah. Tory Lanez is one of my favorite artists, but
He's nuts.
He's
yeah,
diverse.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Going back to Drake though, I would say like that for the type of artist that Drake is, I think he needed to drop that project that like just
Yeah.
drop like
Keep his fans entertained.
not even he's too big, bro.
Yeah,
Like
he's unrelatable. It's
Yeah.
like Drake, he can only relate to people on heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? It's like he can't talk about the struggle anymore. It's like he's bragged so much, but he has his own fucking airline. OVO, are you serious?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like dude's
What
house,
troubles do you got,
dude's
bro?
house looks like the fucking Knicks like stadium, bro. It's like
Right.
he can't relate.
Like, what troubles
You
do
know
you
what I
really
mean?
got?
Like,
Like,
his
yeah.
only trouble is like I might have slipped up and had a baby mom. So niggas like, oh yeah, me too. But then all right, that was 4 years ago. So now what? You know what I'm
right,
saying?
Right.
for sure.
Like we can't relate to you, my dude.
hmm
Right, man. What? You're right.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's like, let's just like not say much and just turn up the bass.
hmm
We're vibing.
I think it was more of like a strategic move, in my opinion, just because like Drake is like a world like he's a superstar at this point. Like Drake is not only big in the United States. Like we forget that Drake's actually Canadian a lot of the
Yeah,
times.
he's not even American.
Right,
That's
like-
hilarious.
A lot of those sounds like
Yeah.
off his new project are I already know are going crazy in like Europe, like European
Yeah.
markets, like depending like
'cause
non-American. Yeah, like here we kind of want to listen to like more rap, especially like it's like fans of like hip hop, you know. But like
He's regardless of what he drops, he's gonna be successful. Remember when Kanye West dropped
Whoopity scoop. That shit fire though. Whoop-dee scoop.
You know what I'm saying?
Whoop-dee poop.
that hit because it was Kanye.
yeah,
If
For
I'll
sure.
be honest, if
he
Tweak on the
said you're
Beat
not
dropped
ready for
that,
this.
if Tweak on the Beat dropped that would have gotten about 6 listens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
No, yeah. Well, it goes back to having that platform.
exactly,
Yeah.
the platform's everything. So yeah, man.
So upcoming artists though. What do you like? Who do you think's upcoming? Like, who do you think about to make it big next?
So who do I think's about to make it big next?
Yeah,
I mean, out of where?
anywhere. Like, who's the next up? You know what I mean? I'm talking about the next. I don't like to say like it's the next X or like the next Cardi type thing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just the next
Sure.
person to just be up.
You know, I definitely think, in different realms or different areas of music, there's different artists that are really excelling.
Word.
I would say in like the hyperpop space, I would say SSG Kobe and artists like that.
Yeah.
I would say in the indie rap type of stage, Jaleel, like that
Yeah.
guy's going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in the trap right now, even though he's kind of popping, or he's not, he is popping, but like is already up there.
Yeah.
Young and Ace, if you guys are hip.
Okay.
He sings that song, "Who I Smoke," making my way downtown.
Oh, that dude, the
Yeah.
Florida dude,
The rap
dude from
song,
Florida.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That guy's crazy.
Yeah.
He's got like 2 million followers on Instagram, but
Word.
all of his YouTube videos go crazy. He signed to
Really?
Cinematic. It's unreal. Like Young and Ace is ridiculous. All the artists on Cinematic are quite frankly incredible artists.
Word.
We'll say that.
Okay.
Also, you worked with Wifisfuneral before, right?
Yeah. So that
Talk about that.
That was a very cool experience. So, I was fortunate enough one day, Zach Sanuco, I don't know if you're him, he was hosts 808s and mixtapes.
Word.
It's a radio station, and what is it? Is it 88?
808s and mixtapes.
808? It's 808s and mixtapes.
Yeah.
WJCU. Yeah, it's shout out
Shout out
Zach
to them.
Sanuco. Yeah, man,
Shout
you're the
out.
goat.
Shout out.
But the thing is like he hit me up one day. He's like, yeah, Wi-Fi's funeral's coming to studio in Cleveland. We're interviewing him. Like, just make a bunch of beats. Have a bunch of beats ready.
Word.
And I was like, oh,
Up
for
all night.
sure, up all night. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there just cranking out beat after beat after beat. I even hit up this local producer. His name is JXK. Shout out Josh. I hit him up and I was like, hey, I need your help. Make me some crazy stuff together. And we ended up
Word.
making him a crazy beat. And Wi-Fi had pulled up. I had played him a couple beats. He had taken a couple of them with him. I don't know if he ended up recording over them. So if you did, let me know. But we ended up cooking up something together instead.
Word.
And that was a really cool experience. It didn't end up really as a coherent beat at the end of it. We
Yeah.
just ended up kicking it, spitting game back and forth. And it was
Word.
a really cool experience. Got some dope photos with them and had a great time, I would say. So that was a cool experience.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Hell yeah. So, with regards to like working with artists, like what was your favorite artist to work with? I had the pleasure of actually, thanks again, invited me to the session in New York with Paris Bryant, and that was like a really good session, and kind of seeing how you move about like in the room, with artists was also kind of like interesting to me, because like you're not only like, I would say, whereas like other producers trying to be like super technical or like will try to cook up, you're almost like you created a vibe.
Yeah.
So like, would you say that that's kind of like your experience working with a lot of artists, or like do you always click that way?
So there was two questions there. Which one would you like me to do first? Like the favorite art, like the realm of artists I've worked with, who my favorites would be? Are you asking more like the vibe? Is that what I like to do? Because I do like. Cause I'll be honest. Like I love when I'm in a room with an artist. Like I could have a bunch of beats and I could send it to them over text. It wouldn't be the same as if I played it in the studio for them the first time. Right. Perfect example, Kelvin. I could send him a pack of beats. I could send him a pack of like 10 beats. And they'd all be incredible beats, perfect for him, tailored to him. He will, if you're not in the studio and I'm not playing them, there's no chance that vibe's going to be caught or those beats will be recorded over. And I've learned that. Yeah. You have to catch and create the vibe, and that's the only way the beat and the studio session will really end up turning out how you want it to.
Gotcha.
So that's definitely the most important thing, is creating the vibe, finding out what they're interested in. One thing I did learn, and steal actually from Kenny Beats, and if you're hip to the cave, obviously.
Yeah.
And so he always says, what are we feeling today? Like, what do you want? Literally. And I always ask the producer, like, what are you feeling? Because obviously, I always come prepared with at least, if I have a session with somebody who I know, I better come prepared. I have at least 20 beats ready. And I categorize them. Like I will grind on it. Yeah. And if I know weeks in advance, I will definitely have 20 ready. And I'll do like 5 of different each. So like 5 melodic, 5 rap, 5 melodic, 5 hip hop, so like boom bap. Yeah. Like 3 pop, 3 trap, 2 random. Like, you know what I mean? Just whatever's. And have it like that. But I definitely think being prepared is important as well.
Got you.
So creating the vibe is, essential to really having a successful session.
That's what's up.
It's crazy because like when you're I feel like a lot of times some producers may not be as invested into like their work. You know what I mean? So I can definitely tell that you care about like just producing like the right track, like the right stuff.
Thank you. I would agree with that as well. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's facts.
Thank you.
Sure.
Before we wrap it up, I guess give us like a little. What's the craziest studio session you've ever had? Leave it on an interesting note.
I wouldn't say the craziest studio sessions I've had. I've had a couple really cool ones, and I've been fortunate enough to have some really cool opportunities to work with some artists that are really skilled in their own ways, and I've enjoyed it a lot. So, I've been in a session. The first session I ever had with YFL, Pooh, and Ray Guala was actually at Invasion, and they were taking their shirts off in the booth. The first beat I'd ever played for them. This is the first time I'd ever met them or anything. They're like, so what you got? I was like, okay, bet. So I instantly knew what the type of vibe, because I know what type of artists they are. They love like the trap heavy sound. And so I played like this Lil Baby-esque beat, which I'll play for you guys after this. And instantly they're like, I bet, we'll get in there. And so they take their shirts off and they get in the studio. They're smoking the woods. They're just going crazy over this beat. They're like, this beat is absurd. And that was a really cool experience, I would say. Having someone take their shirt off for one of my beats, can't complain.
And one of the first times meeting them too, so it's like, all right, I definitely know they're coming back.
Yeah, they definitely came back.
And the first beat, dude, that's dude.
So it's gonna be a good set.
Play one beat, dude's just like.
Me and those guys have about 15 songs in the vault, I would say.
That's what's up.
Yeah, we got some crazy stuff in the vault. So
nice.
I'm excited for you guys to eventually hear it.
Okay. Well, is that like? Would you say like YFL, Kelvin,
a mixture with Kelvin and Ray. Majority. Okay. I have one with Pooh currently on it, but I've definitely worked with, I said, Kelvin and Ray the most.
Okay.
It's been a great experience for sure.
Nice.
Word. Well, before we head out of here, drop your Instagram and your like how to contact you. You know.
Absolutely. So my Instagram, Sam H Novak. I'm working on it, guys. I promise. But yeah, Sam H Novak is my Instagram.
Spell it out.
SAMHNOVAK is my Instagram. If you want to work, feel free to shoot my DMs. Email is also on my Instagram, samnovak17@gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up. I'll most likely respond. I'm always checking it. So,
most definitely.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you for being on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, gang. Yep. Thank you guys. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
sure.
it.